I almost got scammed $10,000 from Turo claims. I'm gonna give you guys a story. What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the channel. I want to be able to just share a little bit about my Turo experience. Been doing it for more than about 8-9 months now, and it's been an interesting journey. We are out here in Las Vegas managing a fleet over 20 vehicles plus. You guys can go check out my journey, the videos that I posted on this channel, just on Turo in general. And it has its pros and cons, ups and downs. I'm going to share with you guys about my update. And if you guys didn't watch that video, you guys can tap in, watch that video. And it was just pretty much how one of the guests just wrecked the vehicle, and he pretty much ghosted me. I left him a bad review. I didn't really appreciate it, but Turo still handled, okay? But let me give you guys from the beginning, and let's go into how this finished and how I'm able to just come right back up from this this loss, and how I turned it around, and now the car is up and running and in his book. So this was November 2021, and we got the news. I will show you guys the video of just the wreckage. I mean, let's look at it. Definitely looks like somebody hit. I mean, this is the angle that somebody would hit you, right? From whatever angle. You guys. Yeah, it got inside right there. Hubcap missing. Hubcap. It's got a lot of scratches, so this. Yeah, and it looks pretty bad, okay? We got the news end of November, and to be honest, I don't have much information when it came to claims, insurance companies, Gap, how all these questions that I had about it, and I didn't know if it was going to work or not. So I had to wait. I waited for almost this is going to be almost 3 months for this to get done, going into the third month, and it finally just got booked going into this 3 months after this happened. And I'll share with you guys kind of like what I've learned, questions I had, and hopefully if you guys have questions, you guys can drop it below. But I'm going to share you guys how I was able to get out of this and not lose $10,000 in the hole from this specific situation. So obviously Turo claims work so many different ways. What I did was you send information, you go through the claims process. There's a ton of videos on how to send a claim. And then this one, since it was pretty much marked as a total loss compared to what they're saying with the claims adjuster. So right after this accident takes place, you have to report it. And like I said, the renter kind of ghosted me, said nothing was wrong. He got around, he was happy, never said anything after. So we had to file a report with Turo, which we did. And here's what's interesting. So there's a few things that happened. After we did that, they asked us to send them photos, and then from there they check it out to see what they can do. So it looks pretty bad, compared to the photos, the wreck, and they ruled it out to be a total loss. Okay, this was from my direct dude that was part of the insurance claims department. And these guys are like certified like scammers. I'm sorry to say that, but insurance companies in general are just straight scammers. Okay, they never want to give you your money. So having to go around this and me having to take literally authority in this situation, it took me a few months because I was stressing. And the reason why was because, okay, we have our own insurance. Okay, I have my personal insurance, and then there's the insurance that goes through, Turo. And this is where they have their insurance company, their claims. So my insurance had no idea about this because I'm not the one that got into the quote unquote accident. It was the renter, right? And the renter is the one that pays for Turo insurance. I don't know what happened or whether they had to pay out of pocket. I actually have no idea what happened in this situation. But they ruled my vehicle as a total loss. In the state of Nevada, if it's over 65% looking damage, and this car already looks like it's really damaged, it's wrecked, but the engine never got touched, which was great. It was the back. It was literally on the passenger side, or it was pretty much the driver's side, the passenger seat in the back, and the whole back bumper on all that side, right? So from pictures, it obviously looked like it was a wreck. I actually took it to a few different shops later down the line, okay? And that's towards the end. But Turo pretty much said, okay, it's over 65%, so it's marked as a total loss. So what they have to do, and they were so quick to do it, they sent me a next day thing where I'd have to pretty much sign it off, right? So they shipped it out next day, and it's pretty much giving Turo full access and full ownership over the vehicle. First, what they had to do, and that same day, they went in, they got a tow truck. The tow truck towed it out so they can go quote it and get an estimate to make sure that it was marked as a total loss. And by surprise, I mean, no surprises here, they marked it as a total loss. I got it, they picked it up, boom, sent it out. And it's great because I left my tracker in there, and this kind of goes with the story. So they marked it as a total loss, told me what the ACV is, which is the actual cash value, and they were willing to give me pretty much what the car was worth. Okay, but my loan is way more than whatever they were willing to give me in cash and check. And what he was doing, and he was playing this pity, sorrowful, like, hey, I'm sorry about this. There's nothing else we can do. Just give us the vehicle and we'll make sure to get you paid. And if you don't sign it right away, you're not going to get paid, right? So I felt pressure. It was like, oh man, I don't want to, I have a car. It's marked as a total loss. I can't drive it, yada, yada, yada. What should I do? I don't want to go to my insurance because, I don't want to claim this thing. And just so you guys can understand, I'm not this dude that kind of knows a lot about the industry. I'm learning as we go. And it's a lot of learning curve with insurance companies, Turo, the different things that you need to know as far as like rules, regulations, the laws. It's a lot, okay? So obviously I'm like doing a ton of research. I'm just chilling back. I'm talking with the Gap. I'm filing a Gap. I actually have had to file a claim. I filed it with the actual lender, right? So my lender was CarMax. So I'm talking to that person. They're talking to the people at Gap. I'm talking to the insurance adjuster for Turo as a representative. So I'm talking to like 3 different people. And what's interesting is Gap, if you guys look at, Gap, and if you guys don't know what Gap is, if you get into an accident, Gap is pretty much, they're going to pay for whatever, the loan is. They're going to pay for the gap. So whatever the insurance is willing to pay, in this case, let's say they're willing to pay 10 G's, it's a $20,000 loan. They'll pay the gap of 10 grand, okay? That's kind of like how it goes. And my gap was 10 G's. So I'm looking over here like, man, is this going to go through? And Gap cannot promise unless I sign the paper that Turo is legit. Like they're having me sign to give them ownership. And until I sign to give Turo ownership, they're not going to give me the paperwork needed to file the Gap. And Gap can't even promise that they're going to pay the Gap. So I'm stuck in this thing where it's like I need to sign the paper to give Turo ownership in order for them to give me papers to give to the Gap company. So I've been in this like thing for like a month and a half, just going back and forth and just really not moving, just deciding like, okay, is this really worth it? Should I just sign it? Should I take the $10,000 loss? So I'm going through this not knowing, and Gap doesn't even promise. And if you look at the Gap for this specific one, and majority of Gaps, if it gets in an accident with Lyft or Uber, they will not pay the Gap. This is part of their policy. But since Turo is pretty new, there's nothing, it's kind of rocky ground. I've asked a lot of insurance people, people that actually have insurance, and it's interesting. One of my renters, they've been working for, I think it was Geico, for over a decade plus. So people are just letting me know over the span of a few weeks, going into the holidays, into Christmas, and I still haven't signed the paper. Turo's pushing me on it. They're like, hey, we're not going to pay you unless this happens. So I'm like getting all this pressure, all this stress, because I'm like trying to figure out, I'm looking this thing up. I'm looking up Gaps. I'm looking up how Gap is a scam as well. And so much going through. And it wasn't until the week of Christmas where I decided to look up on the GPS where the vehicle was. And I realized it's out here. I look at it and I look at the surrounding businesses where it's at, and it's in a yard. It's at an auction place. Long story short, I go to the auction place. They tell me I need to call Turo to release it. A week later, I call Turo, tell them to release it. This guy kind of didn't want to give it to me, but he ended up giving it to me. I had to pretty much, like I said, take my authority, said, hey, I'm going to go get this checked. And mind, this has been at the yard for over 6-7 weeks already, right? Out there at the auction house. And long story short, a week later, I finally get it. They give me the paperwork the go to release it in my name because it's mine. I still own it. I never gave it to Turo. And I get the vehicle. We go to our local shops, a couple shops here in Vegas. We get quotes. And to be honest, it's not even close to a total loss. The auto shops were telling me that it can be, because it's like already one piece of it can be over 50% as a total loss. So what ended up happening was it was nowhere near the actual car value of how much I had to pay in repairs. I only paid a couple grand. Turo paid it out, right? Because I gave them the quote from, the local body shop. And we got it done. They paid in, we got it done, and this is what the car looks like. As you start to build this business, you're gonna start to learn the ins and outs. You're gonna start to learn, the connections that's needed and how to not let people screw you over. That's it. You need the wisdom from God, So praise God, it's all there. Good, it's ready to roll. But the only difference, like I said, you can only see those two. The paint, the coat is a little bit different. It's not the manufacturer, but they got it done. Doesn't look like anything. Looks clean. Praise God. All in all, I'm super grateful. The car's up and running. It just got booked this last week. It's already on a trip. I wish I did this earlier. So takeaways when it comes to accidents, go make friends with your local body shops. Just make friends with all of them. Make friends with all your local body shops. Get close with them. Learn about, their business model. Make sure. And here's the thing. I've learned that it's not the big body shops. It's the local ones, the mom and pop ones that really, they don't not just hook you up, but they actually care about you because they want you to come back. And I'm so grateful. We had like 3 different mom and pop shops we got quotes from, learned a little bit about them, saw who we could trust to run it. They got it done within a week, and the rest is history. So get close with those type of people. And they came back with a quote that, like I said, wasn't even close to a total loss. So 1, Turo doesn't care. 2, they're such a big company that they're just trying to get their assignments done. And 3, they don't care about you. Take responsibility for your business, for your life. Yes, it's risk. It's always going to be a risk when you put your cars out there. It's always going to be a risk when you're taking whatever types of loans out or putting a whole bunch of money and a lot of time into these things. It's risk. It's a risk. The thing is, I think we're taking risk in lives every day. We're always taking risk, but it's worth it, right? I've heard this one quote, and I'm going to end with this. Thank God, like I said, I was able to get the car back on the road. I went through almost 2 months worth of stress over a little over 2 months, thinking every time I thought about it, I just wanted to push it aside because this isn't the industry. I'm still learning, right? I'm just an internet dude, like internet marketing dude. Like that's my thing. But if there's anything that I've learned when it comes to creating a business, and if anybody's on the fence with creating a Turo business, know this, okay? Build a business. You're going to get 2 outcomes. 1, you're going to fail and you'll have a story. 2, you succeed and now you have a business. Either way, it's a win-win. And this is a powerful story. This is a great story. I can share experience to anybody getting started in this industry or something that can relate to it, talking about, hey, this is what I went through. This is the stress I went through. You'll get through it. All things will work together. Better days are ahead. Things will work together for good. Just keep pushing. And like I said, if you fail, you have a story, which is great. You don't fail, you succeed, you got a business. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know below if you guys did enjoy this. Ask any questions. I love to answer them. I look at almost every comment here on the tube. Hit that like button. And also, if you guys like stuff like this, let me know if you want me to be able to share a lot more personal stories. I'm just documenting the journey, wanting to look back at this and see how this business model, this side hustle has helped. And if you guys are thinking about getting into Turo, what questions do you have? I might make videos about it, or I can just simply answer those in the comments below. Y'all be blessed. Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.